Remember the cosmic owl? Yeah, it's that galaxy we talked about last time, the one that looks like an owl and is in the process of colliding. Since its discovery, astronomers haven't been interested in its owl shape. Instead, it's the Beak, because that's where they discovered an extremely bright X-ray point source, almost as powerful as a quasar. Plus, the radio and ionization signals here are so strong it's hard not to suspect there's a big guy here, a supermassive black hole that's voraciously consuming. But this spot isn't at the center of the galaxy. We've never seen a supermassive black hole outside of a galactic core. So where did it come from? Earlier studies generally believed it's not something ejected during galaxy collisions, but rather born here, formed by the direct collapse of a gas cloud. However, recently, a research team from Yale University found evidence of a special type of black hole with two key pieces of evidence. As a supermassive black hole, it doesn't just sit quietly at the center of a galaxy, but races through space at high speed. If such black holes really exist, then the supermassive black hole in the owl's beak might have a new explanation, like maybe it flew in from somewhere. These supermassive black holes outside of galactic cores are called runaway supermassive black holes. This discovered black hole is also the first runaway black hole humans have found, so it's named Runaway Black Hole Number 1, or RBH1. Researchers found a distinct bow shock around RBH1, which is the first evidence for the runaway black hole hypothesis. Researchers found through spectral data that there's a huge variation in gas movement speed here. This phenomenon can only be explained by shock waves produced when a massive object travels supersonically through a medium. Through detailed modeling, researchers determined that the object is racing at nearly thousands of kilometers per second. This speed far exceeds the sound speed of the gas medium in that region. So, in a way, you could say this supermassive black hole is creating cosmic-level sonic booms. Aside from the bow shock, another piece of evidence is the 200,000 light-year-long tail behind RBH1. Researchers believe this tail is actually the backward extension of the bow shock. It's essentially a high-temperature ionized region created by the black hole along its path. The shock waves compress some gas to extremely high densities, causing it to glow, heat up, and even collapse into stars. Through calculations, researchers found that this track is dotted with star-forming regions, with newly formed stars totaling about 300 million times the mass of the Sun. Star formation of this scale typically occurs in the centers of galaxies. It's rare to see such formations outside of galactic nuclei. Additionally, based on the length of this trail, the gas cooling rate, and the total mass of the new stars, researchers deduced the black hole's mass to be at least 10 million times the Sun's mass. Meanwhile, it might have been in this high-speed state for 73 million years. If all of this is true, then there's another explanation for the supermassive black hole in the cosmic owl's beak. It might not have originated here, but rather flew in from somewhere else. As mentioned before, this cosmic owl is actually two ring galaxies undergoing a head-on collision. Unlike ordinary ring galaxies, these two form this unique shape due to their extremely unusual size and the perfect collision angle and speed. According to the runaway black hole explanation, this bright beak might not only be caused by the galaxy collision but also by a bow shock created by the high-speed black hole. So here's the question, where did this black hole come from? Did it escape from those two eyes? Currently, there are generally two possibilities for a black hole to be ejected at high speed. One is the familiar three-body problem, where in a system containing three or more black holes, complex gravitational interactions might cause one of the smaller mass ones to be ejected at high speed. This is known as the three-body interaction. Another possibility is a scenario where two black holes merge. When two black holes have asymmetrical spin directions, the gravitational waves generated during their merger will also be unbalanced. This results in the newly merged black hole gaining a recoil velocity, propelling itself away. This is called gravitational wave recoil. If it's the first possibility, the three-body interaction, then this black hole likely came from a third progenitor galaxy that's been completely consumed and is now unobservable. Now, the owl's two eyes are the centers of those two galaxies before the collision. There, it's believed, lie two supermassive black holes with masses of 67 million and 26 million times that of the Sun. If a third party existed before the merger, like a smaller satellite galaxy, it could indeed have been torn apart and ejected by the other two. Of course, there might not have been a third galaxy at all. Instead, one of those galaxies might have been dual core. That's right, a galaxy's center can simultaneously have two supermassive black holes. For instance, the galaxy OJ287 has a 100 million solar mass black hole at its center orbiting another 18 billion solar mass black hole. Perhaps the center of one of these two galaxies is in a similar situation. When these two black holes, one large and one small, encounter a third large black hole at the center of another galaxy, the smaller black hole might get ejected. These all fall under the first possibility, high-speed ejection caused by a three-body interaction. If it's the second possibility, which is gravitational wave recoil, then things get interesting. The black holes at the centers of two galaxies merge, and the resulting new black hole ejects itself. But doesn't that mean the centers of those two galaxies would be left empty? So then, how do we explain those earlier measurements showing the two central black holes, each having tens of millions of times the sun's mass, and the radio and X-ray emissions from both cores? Firstly, since these mass values were measured using dynamic models, there should indeed be a significant amount of matter at the galaxy centers. Besides black holes, other objects might contribute to this mass like core clusters. Core clusters are dense star clusters concentrated at the center of galaxies. They are the densest known star clusters in the universe, with radii usually no more than a few light years, but with an average brightness 40 times that of globular clusters. Their mass ranges from millions to even billions of times the mass of the Sun. If the galaxy core isn't a black hole, but one of these clusters, the previous radio and X-ray emissions might make sense. They might not be from black hole accretion disks, but from intense starburst activities. However, these are just speculations for now. Whether the centers of these two galaxies are black holes or nuclear star clusters will require higher precision spectral analysis to determine. Of course, besides these two possibilities of coming from the galaxy center, we can't rule out a third possibility, that this black hole was formed by direct collapse of a gas cloud, a direct collapse black hole, and not from the center of a galaxy. No matter what, the peculiar beak of this cosmic owl and RBH1 are indeed rare sights in the universe. It shows us that supermassive black holes don't all quietly stay at the centers of galaxies. They might leave the galactic nuclei, wander between galaxies, or even become supermassive dormant, wandering black holes outside galaxies. Alright, this is Linvo Talk. See you next time. Bye.